So last time I said that I was certain the Fright Zone state was due to Catra's influence on what a perfect world would be there. Here, I'm pretty sure Glimmer has the greatest influence. She and her mother are just having fun in the sky, flying around, teleporting. It's just this real nice mother-daughter moment. And then her father, Micah, shows up alive and well to join them. Plus, Bo is the royal apprentice historian here. I suppose his existence could be explained by Glimmer wanting to be friends with him, but without the war, he kinda has no method of meeting her beyond this path.
So I genuinely think Glimmer has the most influence over Bright Moon.
Although she's not as deeply rooted into this as Catra was, because after Adora is captured when she tried sneaking into Glimmer's room and she catches a glimpse of her, she has this gut feeling that she knows this person somehow, right away, because she does know deep down that there's something important to be done, much like Adora did last episode. Surely there's a better way to hold all that stuff, like stack it up like a pyramid in your arms, Bo. You're just making this unnecessarily difficult for yourself.
There's a trespasser in Bright Moon, and we need to figure out who she is.
Anyway, Glimmer has her gut feeling, and conscripts Bo's aid in this, and I do mean conscript.
If you want to stay behind, just tell me. Didn't hear anything. Let's go.
To spy on preceding events with Adora. I mean, yeah, that's classic Glimmer. Adora gets hit with a truth spell and tells about everything, of course, about the Horde, the portal, She-ra, and the whole reality slowly breaking down to nothingness, and it goes about as well as you would expect. No one can believe it because obviously it's ridiculous, and Adora makes the mistake of mentioning Micah being dead.
Are you threatening the king?
In a room full of people who wouldn't like to hear the top reigning monarch should be dead, especially when you're under the influence of something called a truth spell.
How dare you say such a thing?
None of this is right. You must have noticed it.
Seriously, Adora, learn what tact means and why the word exists. So her plea to see Bo and Glimmer falls apart, and she gets thrown in the doghouse.
The spare room.
And might have stayed there until all of Etheria was consumed by the white void, if not for, you know, Glimmer being Glimmer. And it takes a bit of convincing to get the two of them realize this whole situation is off from Adora.
This isn't right.
I find it funny that Bo grips his shirt like, yeah, it's the shirt that makes him realize that this isn't right, not the fact that he's wearing glasses or anything.
Everyone keeps saying everything is perfect.
Yeah, Glimmer was a wee little girl when Micah died and the war started. She legit grew up in a failing conflict, unable to contribute to it for a long time. Places her drive to get out there and fight into a better context when you realize just how long Glimmer had to sit there and watch this conflict play out from the sidelines. And this moment gets really sour for Glimmer because she realizes, you know, her dad's not actually here.
He's gone.
Yes. I'm sorry, Glimmer.
Heck, that sense of helplessness and loss is what made her realize how unreal this world is. No real time to dwell or express any of that though, because, you know, the world is kind of being consumed.
You said a portal did all of this. Can you think of anyone who'd know how to make a...
I hope everyone can see what I mean when I said this season moves fast, because so much happens over such a short period of time. We are a quarter away through the finale right now, and there's so much I had to skim over.
Of course. Entrapta!
And they already have their new heading.
Glimmer, can you teleport us to drill?
No, but I suppose with their OP powers, Glimmer could get them reasonably close to.
What? I barely managed to teleport me and Bo in here.
Or not and just blitz right through the door and assume it would have been unlocked? Why was it unlocked?
Yeah, we improvise!
I really don't like improvising!
Considering how the RNG treated Bo last time, I can't really blame him.
We have to get out of Bright Moon before it disappears like the Fright Zone.
Seriously, how come Glimmer doesn't just teleport them outside so they don't arouse attention? Because they do and end up cornered when the door they're running to disappears.
Guys?
Step away from my daughter. Now!
And for some reason, Glimmer still doesn't try and just teleport them away?
Mom, stop! Can't you see what's happening?
I guess it was just so that we could have Angela's turn to realize none of this is real before the BFS gets flashed away to drill. And I think it's a testament to just how deeply rooted Catra was in this false reality and understanding how badly it affected her to be broken out of it. that it takes everyone else barely any effort to realize none of this is right and they're in some false reality. Yet it took so much to finally get Catra to realize that too.
We'll get her back, Angie. And then everything will be perfect.
Angela here realizes, but she isn't exactly ready to just leave yet.
This is perfect, my love.
Because this place has something she absolutely wants. Micah.
But it's not real.
It's a sad moment, really. Like the decade of constant warfare she was losing and having to worry, all the while blaming herself for Micah's death, and suddenly he's here, and she knows it's not real.
But Glimmer needs my help.
Was not expecting the feels this episode.
I can't stay with nothing but memories.
And it's easy to tell just from this short exchange, Angela just wants a few short moments with her husband in person before having to leave him. Having to let him go just one more time. And yeah, okay, if you watch the show, you know Micah isn't dead. And here he's literally about to say,
Angela, wait! I'm not
dead. And I enjoy the fact the writers dropped a hint like this instead of just leaving it completely for a twist later. It gives observant viewers something to speculate on going into season 4. Hopping over to our rivals at Drill, Entrapta is working on something and she clearly has a Scorpia and Hordak bot behind her. I think that's because subconsciously she knows they're her true friends and wanted to have them around in some sense. Anyway, Entrapta
This is fascinating! Never had non-robots visit me before.
is Entrapta, as if that state of affairs was liable to change. So Adora has taken upon herself to delicately explain the situation to someone as energetic and erratic as Entrapta, and to get her full attention on solving their...
Is this about the unstable portal that's slowly consuming and warping our reality?
I get that Entrapta is supposed to be a genius, but this feels like a stretch even for her. She thought portals were a theoretical thing until last season. How is she able to not only scan for it, but also know what it's doing and ascertain what needs to be done to shut it down?
The only way to turn it off is from the inside.
And the consequences of doing so.
Whoever shuts the portal down can't leave. Trapped between realities, possibly forever.
Entrapta didn't even remember her time with Hordak until after all this information was dropped. And I feel like only after Entrapta remembers her time with Hordak doesn't make sense for her to know this stuff, because it's things she learned with Hordak.
It's your sword. That portal is centered on you. It's following you.
And with that done, Entrapta fades away, and they get flashed to the beacon for some reason.
Stars?
So what, we came out here to establish further that things are screwed? I thought we already did that.
It's what Entrapta said. Reality is unraveling faster now. We might be too late.
Wait, what? Wait, what? I'm sorry, but how? Why? Are we seriously gonna have Mara show up out of the blue and not have anything happen with her? Yeah, apparently. Adora's heroism comes out once more.
Stay here. The portal is centered on me. You're at risk as long as we're together.
Knowing full well what needs to happen to end this, Adora puts on a reassuring smile, trying to put on the illusion that she's ready for this.
If I draw it away, no.
But Bo and Glimmer know her too well to be tricked, and aren't so keen on letting her run on in to throw her life away. But unfortunately, the choice gets robbed from them as they too fade away.
No! You got this, Adora. We believe in you.
And this is a serious blow for Adora. She was supposed to help everyone, be a hero, but when things end up just on her shoulders, when has it ever gone well without help? And now the weight of the literal world is at stake here, and she doesn't even know where to start saving it. You know, I think one of the biggest issues when it comes to putting the stakes at the world being destroyed is that often the writers behind it don't do enough of a good job explaining why the characters should care so much. Because if the characters have very little investment into saving the world, why should we as the audience care about the fact that it's being threatened? Here, it's different because the characters and us have had enough time to get invested into this world, so we care that it can all be lost. And most importantly, we come to hate who's responsible.
Hey, Adora.
Unhinged. Okay, I think now that these flashes they kind of go through is their minds having an influence on this realm. Like they want to be somewhere or away from some other place, so they teleport somewhere. It's kind of a flimsy theory, but I think that's why when Adora is fighting with Catra, they get teleported around to various locations Catra has been to, because Catra is kind of merged with this void and has a better degree of influence over it. This entire scene between Catra and Adora, or maybe scenes, is just Catra trying to blame Adora for everything that's been happening.
Let's be honest, all of this is your fault.
I don't think she's trying to gaslight her.
You hadn't gotten captured. Your sword wouldn't have opened the portal.
Catra legit thinks everything horrible that's happened to her is thanks entirely to Adora.
Admit it, Adora. The world would still be standing.
And she is here, ready to make her suffer as she did.
If you had never come through that portal in the first place.
And yes, we as the audience know this isn't true, but Catra absolutely sees everything as Adora's specifically fault.
You took everything from me!
And has come to a sort of breaking point where she's ready to see the whole world burn if it means she gets one last laugh.
You broke the world, all your fault.
It's completely insane and fulfills Catra's shift from the unfortunate antagonist you might have wanted to see leave the Horn to be better, to a full-blown villain whose actions are totally malicious, and you absolutely lose sympathy for her. And I like it because it's well written, and that's pretty much what the last 2 seasons have been building towards. Although Adora is not having any of her insane dribble.
No, it's not!
Because a lot of Catra's problems is mostly due to herself.
I didn't make you pull the switch. I didn't make you do anything.
Terrible attitude and a misread of events. And yes, she was messed up thanks to Shadow Weaver, not gonna forget that. But it was Catra's choice to pull that switch, all in an effort just to get back at Adora for a perceived slight against her.
You made your choice. I'll live with it!
And Adora is now done trying to help Catra now, because this is way too far to have her redeemed in any fashion.
Adora! Hold on!
And now, yeah, we got this final scene with Angela. There's the sword, and Adora knows what needs to happen.
I just need to go into the portal and pull out the sword.
And obviously, she's got to be the hero here and do it. But Angela doesn't see things that way. Well, Adora does her usual thing and speaks about it as if this is her destiny to go and sacrifice herself to save everyone, but Angela is like,
Oh, Adora, no, this is not it.
remember back in season 1 where she let out her feelings with Glimmer, talking about how she pretty much gave up after Micah's death and regrets not fighting enough to keep the Alliance together and to try and combat the Horde, with her biggest regret being unable to find the strength to push forwards?
Do you want to know a secret? I am a coward.
Well, those feelings come back here.
I've always been the queen who stays behind. Micah was the brave one.
Angela couldn't handle the nature of war, and it definitely showed with her extremely cautious attitude in previous seasons,
I told myself I was being responsible.
and nearly giving up when Glimmer was captured, not even willing to make the attempt to free her through force.
But Adora, I was just scared.
And because of the fear Angela felt, it prevented her from taking decisive actions during the war, and actually leading the rebellion to protect people.
And then I met you. You inspired me.
But Angela is not going to let fear get in her way anymore.
Not because it was your destiny, because you never let fear stop you.
She's not going to sit by and watch Adora sacrifice herself, not when she's there. She can take that responsibility herself.
Take care of each other.
And you better believe Adora is pissed when she gets that sword back and returns to the portal machine. Taking out her frustration on the closest thing, especially after Catra makes a run for it. That look says everything Adora needs to. I'm gonna shove this sword so far up where the sun don't shine, kitty cat. And by that, I mean Catra's ass. This season in particular, I feel, was meant to solidify just why Catra should be hated right now. It was a real steady and well-placed descent into this completely irredeemable piece of garbage villain. You know, until season 5, we'll get to why the switch to the hero side was actually great when we get to that moment. And the remainder of this season just moves towards this bittersweet ending. You know, everyone's cheering, celebrating, they teleport to Bright Moon, it's all great, but
I guess I should go find my mom.
It was an extremely short-lived celebration. And this being the season of cliffhangers, we have to end off the finality with one as well.
So that's where you've been.
The Galactic Horde knows and is now coming. Oh boy. I really enjoyed this season, because I felt like all the characters moved forwards in some way. Although I am a bit disappointed that in this season Rodora was actually asking questions about her past, She-ra, Mara, yet we never get much of anything to show for it. The Horde getting entrapped to friendship was great, Catra's final descent into villainhood felt believable, and ultimately I think everything ended up written in a way that makes sense for how the characters were, as well as where they're headed to for season 4. So that was episode 6 for season 3 of Overanalyzing She-ra. If you like this video and want to see more, hit that thumbs up and the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications about the next episode. I try to update this series every Thursday, so please share with other fans, and also check out my channel for my video essays, music analysis, and complex character series. You might find them enjoyable as well.